Ime, it seemed like they had no answer for Alpi for a lot of that second half. What did you think of the execution on that final play after the timeout with him missing the shot against Draymond?
It was okay. I think Draymond shot the gap and kind of denied the catch. Tried to get a switch with Peyton, so we didn't get a great screen and kept the matchup, but got a decent look. But we got to screen better to get Alpi open at the spot we want him at.
You went with the double big lineup for a large portion tonight. Just how do you think that fared, and especially compared to the starting lineup, which seemed to have a rough start to both halves?
Yeah, they were great. They kept us in the game. Obviously, the start of the third quarter, 18-1 run, and just gave everything back that we did before in the halftime. And to be up 7 and go down 10 that quickly with some of the missed shots or whatever, nobody tries to miss shots, but the non-help off of certain guys, leaving shooters, and then just not rebounding. They beat us in the offensive glass, second chance points. So not a great start there. Double big was the reason we stayed in the game. Yeah, like I said, get some separation with the screens, but you have to come off and be aggressive. And tonight was a little more free than last game. And you just have to make the right plays. And not his best night offensively, obviously, but you can't let that affect your all-around game. Still make the right play, make the right read, let guys be recipient, but you still have to guard at a high level and not get discouraged by off night offensively.
Alperen had obviously his best stretch with Draymond out of the game. Do you feel you have any route to efficient offense when Draymond is in the game, and what would that be?
Yeah, we got some looks and used his aggression against him and got him in foul trouble there. He's kind of roaming all over the place, and so make the right read, you'll get open looks off him, and so I think Alpi was going well regardless. The plan was to go attack Green, and I think he did that, had some success there, and missed some easy shots early, but settled in there. So just continue to be aggressive there, and it doesn't matter who's on Alperen. We feel like we have an advantage every night.
Coach, can you talk about the just what the locker room was like after the game? Such a tough loss, and what's the mentality you guys have to try to keep this series alive?
Yeah, a little bit upset, of course. It feels like the games we've lost, we really hurt ourselves in a lot of ways. We get a late foul on a 3. Obviously, that stands out, but it's not just a play late in the game. It's all the things that add up to it. First half, fouling guys in the bonus, and those things it's hard to outplay those mistakes, the amount that we're making. And so, let alone the third quarter when we come out, undisciplined like that. And so, guys are down, but they understand that the game we played well, the one game out of the 4, we had a blowout win. In other games, it's been a one-possession game a lot of times, or we had a fourth quarter lead and haven't really played that well. So consistency wins in this series. We've talked about that from day one, and we have to be way more consistent across the board. And so the plan is to obviously go home and get one and come back.
Coach, this second game in a row that you all have shot bad from the free throw line. What seems to be the mentality on the free throw shooting?
Can't tell you what the mentality is. I think you go up there to make them, but obviously missing. I think we missed 12 tonight. It's not good enough in a one-possession game. So it takes it back to game 1 when we shot poorly from 3 from free throw. And if you're going to make some of the mistakes it'd be good to cash those in and obviously give us a little margin for error.
And what would be the message to this young team going back to Houston down 3-1?
Go get a win. Let's play a sound, disciplined game, full game, and not have these lulls that we've had that allowed us to, lose a lead or them get a big lead and we have to fight our way back. It's all good, fighting your way back and showing that heart, but you want to do the disciplined things to stay up when you get the lead or not let them go on runs like that. And so you have to be much more consistent, which was a big mantra coming into this series.
Coach, what was the calculation in taking Steven Adams out when they went to the hack in the fourth quarter?
That they got us into the bonus by taking the fouls and get him out and bring him back in when it's under 2 minutes. So they can't be as aggressive defensively. They built up the fouls and Alperen was rolling. Some guys were playing well. I'm in obviously there, and so wanted to go with that lineup, take Steven out and get him back when it's under 2 minutes.
Now that you are facing elimination, do you give any more serious consideration to changing the starting 5?
Yeah, we'll take a look at everything. Obviously, certain lineups have been much better at times, and the poor start to the third really stands out. Obviously, there's a few pieces to it. There's obviously offensive things, and the big lineup goes on, and they rebound well and all those things. But at the same time, we've been really good defensively with that starting unit. Keeping them in the low 20s for the most part, and having a lead after most of these first quarters. So. Doing good defensively there, offensively, got some room to make up for sure. Thank you.
Interested to know your thoughts on Brandin Podziemski going on a tear tonight to kind of keep you guys in it, and of course Jimmy Butler waking up at the end and really solidifying some baskets that you needed.
Both guys were amazing. Brandon's big time, second-year player, but plays like a 10th-year guy. I mean, he's just got so much poise and confidence, and he was obviously a key to everything. And then Jimmy getting to the line 12 times really carried us, especially in that fourth quarter. It was just an incredible performance by our guys against a great team that gave us everything we could handle tonight. So it's a big-time win.
A little specifically on Jimmy, he definitely looked like he was not 100%, at times limping even out there. Did you notice that, and what do you think he went through? And you played him 40 minutes, you just couldn't resist. You just had to have him on the court.
Yeah, we had to have him. I mean, if this were the regular season, he'd probably miss another week or two. But it's the playoffs, and he's Jimmy Butler. So this is what he does. The rebound at the end was just incredible. The elevation, the force, then of course knocking down the free throws to clinch it. Jimmy was just amazing.
What was going through your head when you saw that the final defensive stop unfold with Sengun versus Draymond and then the Jimmy rebound?
Well, what was going through my head was call a timeout. Either way, made or missed, we wanted to get the timeout so we get Steph back in. I just thought, Dre, played phenomenal defense with 5 fouls. Most of the fourth quarter he's out there, and so he did a brilliant job, and we were able to get Sengun forced out a little bit further than he'd been for most of the fourth, so it made it a tougher shot. And then, as I said, Jimmy made an amazing rebound.
And I know you don't like to use the word solved, but to take a 3-1 lead with everything they've thrown at you guys, do you feel like you have, all the answers at this point?
No, we don't have any answers. Every game's different. Tonight they just hammered us with Adams, 26 minutes. I bet that's a season high for him. I don't know, but Raymond would know if he actually did his job as PR director. But yes, correct? Okay, thank you. Stepping into playoff mode? Playoff Raymond? But no, I just think every game's different, and they made big adjustments tonight, playing that double big lineup more, playing Green less. But next game could be entirely different as well. So all these things unfold differently each game, and you have to adapt and adjust while it's going on.
Not to kind of over dramatize that rebound that you're talking about, but how difficult is that come baseline? I think it was Adams that he had to leap over. What type of play is that?
Just looked like he was coming in slow motion, and just the elevation. I mean, he was looked to me like he was just head and shoulders above everybody, and that's a massive team they have out there. So, that's kind of. What makes Jimmy who he is he just does so many things. He makes so many big plays, and that was, he gets fouled by Brooks in the corner on the push, makes the 3 free throws, gets the stop, makes 2 more free throws. He's playoff Jimmy for a reason.
Steve, you talked about how Jimmy Butler has kind of clarified roles, and especially how Brandon has benefited from Jimmy's presence. Tonight, was there a way that you could tell that Brandon was, benefiting from Jimmy being out there and helping him, score 26?
We got off to a great start. Brandon did. I thought we played really fast early in the game. that allowed us to get some openings against their defense. And Brandon, knocked down a couple shots, felt really good about his game, and really took off from there.
Steve, after the game on TNT, Jimmy said, he'd die for these guys, and he got his joy back. From what you know of Jimmy, what does that mean that he died for his team and he got the joy? And how does he bring joy maybe differently than any other player that you've coached?
We have a great vibe here. Steph sets an amazing tone, and when Jimmy arrived, he was instantly welcomed by Steph and the group, and vice versa. I mean, Jimmy really wanted to be here, and it's just a great match. He was exactly what we needed, and we've given him a group of guys to play with that I think he really enjoys, and it's been fun to watch it all unfold.
Hey, Steve, over here. What can you say about just Draymond's night? He picks up the early fouls, and like you said, he doesn't foul out, but also your guys' ability to survive without him for a long stretch of time there in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the playoffs are about: injuries, foul trouble. Guys have to step up. I thought Quentin Post gave us really good minutes. We just had to survive some minutes. Loon, Trace gave us almost 6 minutes to help us survive and buy Draymond some time on the bench. So everybody just did what they had to do to keep us going.
Just temperamentally, does it seem like Draymond has not taken the bait so far this series? It seems like they've referred to him by name in the press, and even tonight, obviously attacking him after he gets the foul.
Draymond always walks the line. He always teeters on that line. He's an emotional force, a physical force, and he just can't cross the line, and he knows that. And he's just done a great job of playing through the frustration. This is a tough series for him. Just the way the game is being played. They've kind of taken the ball out of his hands a little bit, and I just think he's done a really good job of dealing with the frustration and competing. And the last 2 games, his fourth quarter defense keyed everything.
Steve over here. You said Brandon, for a second-year player, plays like a 10th-year guy. What about him allows him to do that? And when you think back to his first couple months of the season, he clearly wasn't playing the way he played last year.
Right.
Did you ever have a doubt that he could take this next step forward as he clearly did tonight?
No, we saw last year what he could do, and then we fully expected him to round into form. But Jimmy's arrival was huge for him, and again, it just everything, the pieces fell into place for BP, for Moses. They were able to play off of Jimmy. The thing with Brandon, we know he's at his best when he's secondary playmaker, playing off the weak side, running through the catch, creating shots in the paint for himself, for others. And so once we got Jimmy, we were running a lot of offense through Jimmy, and that allowed BP to play off that other side. And I think he's at his best when he can do that.
Steve, what did you make of Buddy's game and just his addition to the starting lineup? How did you feel like that unit clicked?
Unit was great. I mean, great start to the first quarter, great start to the third quarter. So I think that unit gave us more speed, more shooting, and it forced some matchups for them to make the game a little more difficult for them. And then, of course, they counter by bringing in their monsters together, and we have to deal with that. So there's a lot going on in this series for sure.
And then closeout situation now coming in a couple of days. What challenges do closeout games inherently present?
They're always the hardest one. I mean, every team that's in the playoffs, especially a team like Houston, a 2 seed, 52 wins, big time team. They got a lot of pride, great coach. They're going to be ready, and it's we got a long way to go. So we know that Game 5 will be the toughest one yet.
Steve, with all you've seen and, as you feel out these situations, when a team, when the game on the line decides to post up Draymond and you're watching it, on a scale of 1 to 100, how good do you feel about your chances in that situation?
1 being great or 100 being great?
100 being great.
100. I feel like 100. Yeah. I mean, he's the best defender I've ever seen in my life. he rises to the occasion. On top of being a great defender, he's an incredible competitor. And so anytime, and we've seen it, I've seen it for 11 years, game on the line, Draymond making a stop. It's like having Steph Curry take the shot. Thank you.
Draymond, interested to know, like, when you went back in with those 5 fouls late in the game and they needed you on the floor, what was kind of going through your mind? What got you mentally there so that you could stay out there as long as you did?
Just not pick up a cheap one, but I'm never going to be one of the guys that just because you got fouls, you don't defend. I feel very confident in my defensive ability to defend without fouling, and so I'm going to contest at the rim. But in that situation, you just got to make sure your fundamentals are clean, and so that's what I try to do. If I'm going to go vertical with a man at the rim, or if I'm going to guard Sengun at the post, I just try to make sure that my fundamentals are there, But yeah, I can't be a guy for this team just because I got fouls. I lay off. Like, I'm our defensive anchor. You got to be that. And if I foul out, I just foul out. I'm better served. I can better serve this team just playing. And if I foul out, I'm gone. Than staying out there and just giving up baskets.
What did you see on that last play against Sengun?
He likes the ISO right in the middle of the paint. So he started coming downhill. I gave a little ground. And Stack always tells us it's a time that you have to get serious. He says it's time to get, and you just try to pick that point, I want to pick it too early where, he's facing me, and now I pick up a cheap one, so just try to find that sweet spot and where to get serious, as Stack says, and I thought I found a good spot. He took a deep jump hook.
You said sometime, I think it was a couple days ago after last game, about your technicals and how you sometimes strategically use them.
Yeah, I got a technical tonight, and there was guys way more aggressive than me. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Well, what happened overall in that second? I think it was the second quarter, from the technical, and then
they were trying to muddy the game up, but it's fine. We kept it pushing.
Draymond, I'm curious your thoughts on Podziemski, and not so much his shooting or his skills, but for a young guy, as Steve said, he's a second-year player who acts like plays like he's a 10th-year guy. What about his makeup allows him to have a game like this on this stage?
I think it's his heart. Skill is, the skill is there. That's why he was, what pick was he, the 14th pick or something like that? 19th pick. That's why he, coming from a smaller school, 19th pick. The skill is there, but it's his heart. And I like to call it irrational confidence, although he puts the work in, but he has irrational confidence. It's one of those things that I actually wish I had. But he just has the ultimate belief in himself and his abilities. And he went out there, he showed it. And quite honestly, he's been showing it for the last few months. Since he came back from injury, he's pretty much been lights out, and tonight we needed it in a major way, and he stepped up. He answered the call, 26 points. Just, he's one of those guys that you want on your side. People try to pick on him. They do this, they do that. He don't back down from anybody. He's smart as hell on both ends of the floor. Great draft pick by Mike.
Draymond, when it comes to Dillon Brooks, obviously he's always after the mental game. He's always talking on the free throw line. Anytime the ref is not paying attention, he's throwing a shot maybe. How do you guys ever have to actually calm the other down? Don't let him get in your head, or have a conversation about Dillon Brooks and what he's trying to do to kind of take you guys out of your game?
Nah, they do that.
Who?
They be calming each other down, telling them, don't worry about it. We don't get off into that. We just do what we do.
What did you think about Steph's taunting technical?
All he said was, that's two. There's been way more taunting than that in this series. But, hey, it is what it is. I like it.
think we all could see what Jimmy was going through out there, clearly not at 100%. What did you think of what he gave you guys, and what did you, just like, what did it take for him to play like that?
Well, his presence, number one, is huge. You know, I've spoke about it over and over again, just the commitment that our ownership group and front office made to Jimmy, but not only to Jimmy, to Steph and I, and Steve. You know, we've been here for many years and still feeling like we have a chance, but not quite there and need a little boost. And our ownership group made a 2-year, $120 million commitment for us to get that boost. And what he's meant since he's been here. Like, tonight was great. He played through the injury. It was beautiful. But it's just his presence. What his presence does for this team is humongous. The first 3 quarters, he couldn't move. Not sure how he started moving in the fourth quarter, but first 3 quarters, he couldn't move. And yet, he never complained. He stuck with it. And I think when it was most important, when the time was right, everybody on our side looked to get him the ball. And when you get him the ball, he made great things happen for himself or for others. And, you know, it was huge. I think my favorite play was the last rebound. I looked up, I thought it was Kuminga out there flying. It was Jimmy. That was my favorite play of all of them that he made.
You've dealt with, trying to get back from injury and Rick and, how cautious Rick can be. Did you see Jimmy much over the last couple of days? And were you surprised he was able to, basically to convince Rick to give him the green light?
I wasn't surprised because it's a playoff game. If it was a regular season game, Rick wouldn't even talk to him. But playoff game, I haven't seen him much. Saw him in the meeting, and then he's out the way. Saw him shoot around quickly. He was gone out the way, like no extra shooting or anything. So I came into the locker room today, and, Jimmy has his whole little aura going with the candles and stuff. And I didn't see all of his things. And I was like, yo, so is he not playing? Because they just kind of had us go through shoot around like maybe he would be playing, and now I don't see him. But he was huge. Showed up for us and closed the game off for us. It's big.
Draymond, you mentioned them trying to muddy it up a little bit. How concerned were you with not just the fifth and sixth personal foul, but the second technical foul, playing with one for most of the game?
Not at all. I wasn't worried about a second tech. Can't play the game worrying. It's like I said before, if I'm going to go out there worrying, I'm not doing this team any justice. I just go sit down if I'm just going to go out there and be cautious. There's no place to be cautious. Playoff basketball. Got to give it everything you got. So I wasn't worried one bit.
You've shrugged off their fans and some of the comments they've made about you this series. Have you felt your restraint from yourself and kind of walking that line?
I'm always walk that line. That's who I am. Habitual line stepper. I'm just playing.
Draymond back here, you referenced how they gave you that boost with Jimmy. Obviously, you weren't in the playoffs last year. How much do you appreciate being back here at this point in your career? Steph talked about it too, where you guys have a legitimate chance to do it all again.
This is what you live for. When you've been to the mountaintop, it's a little tough for other things to excite you, except getting back to the mountaintop. And I see Joe standing back there. This guy doesn't allow us to just walk around here. Like, if the goal isn't to get to the mountaintop, he's not happy. And then everybody's around here not happy, and it's just not a happy place when we're not competing for that. And, to have the opportunity at this point to still compete and make a run for it, it's all you can ask for. It's all you ever wanted. You're training in the summer. You're on the days where you don't feel like getting up, getting out of bed. It hurts. This is what you do it for, to get to this moment and have a chance to compete for it all. And I think we got just as good a chance as anybody to do it. We know how to do it. And that's been our mission since February.
Draymond, with the opportunity to close it out in Houston, how do you approach a Game 5 like that with that kind of opportunity?
We know they're going to come out and try to punch us in the mouth. Any team facing elimination is going to do that. You find a physical, proud team like they are, they're definitely going to do that, and you just got to go in there and take the punch and then deliver your own back. So be a tough game. It'll be the toughest one of them all. It always is. But, we just need to go in, stick to our game plan, and if we do that, we give ourselves a chance to win.
Draymond, you're adding to that question, considering how the health of this team is right now, how important is it for you guys to get Game 5 done so you guys can get the necessary rest going in the next?
It's not the end of the world. But when you have an opportunity to close, you want to do that. You let series extend on, injuries happen, freak things can happen. You have an opportunity to close, you want to do it. And so that'll be our focus. But it's not like if we go in there and we're not able to get the job done, we're pulling our hair out. Like, we just move on to the next one. But we got all the confidence in the world that we can go in and close it out. Now that'll be our focus going down there.
Great, thank you.
Alpi, out of all the different lineups over here, out of all the different lineups you played with tonight and the different matchups that you had defensively, which did you feel were the best for you, and which were the worst?
I mean, I didn't feel worse about any lineup, so that's a coach's decision. So just whoever was on the floor, they were playing with the heart. Nobody coming to game to play bad, so they all came with court. They play with the heart, So I'm just proud of them, and I think that's it.
I meant more the defensive matchups, like who you had guarding you.
Are you talking about the other team, or are you talking about our team?
About who was guarding you specifically on the Warriors. Like, which of those matchups did you feel like you did the best against?
Oh, I don't know. It was just like, I don't know. It was just going off all game. Draymond got fouled out, so he got 5 fouls, so he was out of the game. So, he's a good defender. So when he was out, I was just trying to be aggressive, just going to the rim.
You finished with 31. What allowed you to get going later in the game?
I mean, they started the second half really good. So, and then, I stopped bad too. Ime took me off. And then I was just ready to go back in. I still miss a lot of shots, but, I was just trying to make those. Of course, not miss those, but, this happens.
Hi, Alperen. TLT Well in Turkey. Such a close physical game, 31 points for yourself. I know you're disappointed with yourself. Your personal journey since coming over to America, improving it past your improvement. How happy are you with the personal
I would be more happy if we would have win. And 30, whatever, 40, 20, doesn't matter when you lose. Whatever you do, you just got to win when you do that. That's important. So, of course, I'm happy with it, what I'm doing. But, it's just a lot more to improve for myself. Hopefully, I'm going to be in this league for a long time and just, keep improving every year and just get better and better. It's important. I play for my people out there. I play for my family out here. And, just make them proud, make them watching at night, waking up, seeing in the morning. It just, it's good for them to see it. There's a lot of stuff going on in Turkey. And it's just like I can just do my best job over here and just proud of my people out there and just make them smile when they wake up in the morning.
Alperen, what was going on right here? What was going on in the first half when there were a couple of scrums? And also, what do you guys have to do going back to Houston for the next game? What kind of mindset? What kind of?
It's a physical game that happens every game. I think right now we getting into each other, but we just gotta be disciplined, and they always do that. So we just gotta be disciplined. Don't let them get our mind. And just, go back home and play more physical. The series is not over yet, so we're just going to go win over there and come back over here and win over here too. So
Albie, can you take us through that last play? Did you get the shot that you wanted, or was there something else that you felt like you could have gotten?
I mean, I could have go to rim, but that was Looney was down there when I saw him, so I would just turn and took my shot. That's my shot. I'm making those through the years now, so just it's hurt. It's hurt, of course. It's hurt when you miss the game shot. So, but there's a lot to learn. I'm still young. I'm gonna make those one day and get better and better.
And then on that final play, was there supposed to be a kind of screen or a switch or anything like that, or was it intended for you to just keep going toward Draymond?
No, we just, Fred was going to slip out, so he make a lot of threes, so they were switching end of the game too, so it didn't happen. I just went one-on-one and tried to get offensive rebound, but we couldn't. We just move on.
Did a lot with that double big, almost triple big lineup with Jabari out there sometimes. Why do you think that was so successful in helping keep you guys in the game?
You get a little rim protection, put pressure on the boards, some screening actions, and then obviously once Alpie got going late there, it's hard to stop. Just kind of outsizing them a little bit. They went small, and we kind of countered and went big, and they were spacing us out. But I think that slowed down the penetration and the interior points in the paint for them. Obviously, they got loose for some threes, but that lineup's been good for us all year with the double big. So something we had to lean on heavily tonight.
What did you see on that final play? Albie said that you were going to potentially slip out for a three, and he ended up going one-on-one.
Yeah, he didn't get the clean catch. It kind of slowed the rhythm up. He was supposed to get a catch at the top. It came to me, and then I threw it back to him, and then I was supposed to run into an action, but we got jammed up. But, I mean, he was cooking all night. We got a good look one-on-one against Draymond there. Didn't go. But, we living with that all day, every day. I like Alpie at that position at the top of the key, going, getting a look, getting a shot on the glass, and, it just didn't fall.
Fred, what's the message going back home in a Game 5 facing elimination?
I just got to get one. Get one, get back on the board, back feeling good about ourselves, one game at a time. Anything is possible. And it's a good test for our young group, to come back and stay connected, stay together. And we need that Toyota Center rocking louder than ever. And we're going to go out there and leave it all on the line, but we're going home to get one.
What did you like about the composure that some of your young guys had tonight when Jimmy and Draymond and the Warriors were doing what they do?
Yeah, I mean, we've had that resolve all year, been able to keep our composure, been able to bounce back. I mean, they went on some crazy runs to start the game and to start the second half. We were able to bounce back. So, again, you would like to not get punched in the mouth like that, in those spots there. We got to be better. But we respond. We always do. And it's one of the things I love about this group is there's no quit in this group at all. We stay together and we continue to fight and find ways to get back in the game. And, came down to one possession game again at the end. But too many mistakes. We're finding and learning as a group, how slim the margin of error is in the playoffs.
Fred, Fred, what was going on in the first half when there were a couple scrums out on the court? Was there a lot of talking going on or a lot of pushing? And what was, what set all that stuff up?
Good playoff basketball, two competitive groups. Nobody wants to lose. They got championship pedigree. We got young guns that's not backing down from anybody. And, just going out there competing. So it is what it is. And I thought the basketball was played well. Again, we're getting a little whistle happy for my liking. You know what I'm saying? I liked when we were just out there being able to figure it out. But whistle was a little bit different tonight. It is what it is. It's going to be different game to game. But I'm not getting too carried away or too invested in scrums. I mean, it is what it is. It's playoffs.
Fred, it feels like in 3 of these games, the Warriors have used high pickup points on Jalen, and it kind of took him out of the game. In terms of trying to counter that, how can you guys do that in Game 5?
Physicality, spacing, giving them easier lanes to read, and trying to, give him simpler things that can slow the game down for him so he's not thinking as much, so he can just be in attack mode. We got to do better jobs of screening for him and opening the floor up for him and giving him some space to get downhill. But, again, he's going to bounce back. I got no doubt in my mind. We need him confident and strong and positive, and he's got a big game coming in Game 5.
Fred, to piggyback off of that, I was going to ask you, Jalen is one of the guys that you took under your wing when you first got here. Your lockers are next to each other back home. What is the message that you tell him and you give him to get him to bounce back in the next game?
Yeah, he'd be all right. We're not. I mean, I'm not really that worried about it. I don't want to, make it all about him. I'm more concerned about what I could do better. Whatever we talk about, is between us. But just big picture wise, go out guns blazing, unload the clip and let it fly, and just be aggressive until you figure it out. This is his first experience in the playoffs, so teams throw different looks at you. There's a lot of ups and downs. It's a lot that you have to deal with. And I'm proud of, how far he's come since I've been here as a player. But, we need him to be playing at his best and at a high level. He takes our team to a different gear. So we'll look at the film and see how we can help him be more effective. But, again, defenses are going to do what they do to try to take guys out of the game. That's part of the playoffs, and we got to counter that.
Fred, in these last two games, you've been super aggressive in terms of trying to impose your will down in the middle of the floor. As a leader of this team, seeing what you guys have been through all year in the last 2 years, really, how are you feeling going into Game 5, and how can you galvanize this group?
I feel good, man. Listen, these games suck. We had two ones that could have went our way. This is the playoffs. I've been swept before, and I felt like we were the better team. You lose all four, like the margin of error is so slim it can go either way, and you learn that it comes down to possessions, and possessions are so important. It's really one possession game. Both of these games here on the road, trying to be aggressive to give us some calmness out there. But we're going home and to get one, and it's just not impossible, bro. We're going to get it, and you just got to get it one game at a time, and staying confident, keeping this group together, and going out there and competing. Thank you, guys.
Pods, Coach Kerr said you are a 2-year player that plays like a 10-year player because of the poise that you show out there, and you showed that poise tonight, obviously having a big game. How big was it for you to have that big game, knowing that you had a few struggling early on?
I think it was big just because we won the game. I seen some stat on ESPN today of the leading scorer in the series was Steph, and then a bunch of Rockets, and then Jimmy, who's only played one game. And so just try to do my best to help him out and end up getting the win, and that's all we really wanted tonight.
Given everything that they threw at you tonight and in the series, how important was it to stay composed as a team throughout the game?
I think it was very important. As the series has gone on, they've tried a bunch of different things with their defense. And so I think having high IQ players on our side, being able to recognize that kind of thing and make adjustments throughout the game, within the game, it's been huge. I think our coaching staff's done a good job in-game adjustment-wise. Obviously, the starting lineup with Buddy kind of put Sengun on me, which is fine with me. And so they made an adjustment by playing Adams and going zone most of the night. And that's how you saw me and Buddy get a lot of our threes.
Brandon, Draymond just said that Jimmy basically couldn't move for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth, he found a way to move. What kind of effort did you see, the gutsy nature and the lift he gave you guys tonight?
That's what he's been doing for a long time. Here in Miami, wherever he's been, is playoff Jimmy. Just to see him, do everything in his power the last couple of days to get back to this point, and just trying to be out there for Game 4, even though we won Game 3 without him, just to see his perseverance and do all the things he was required to do to get back. You can see that he wants to win. He's a winner.
You guys started the third quarter on an 18-1 run. What was the key to that?
Same as the start of the game when we started on that run. Forcing them to kind of play through Sengun and letting Draymond play one-on-one defense with him and keep everybody else out of the game, and run in transition so they couldn't get their defense set. And I think the start of the first and the start of the third were big for us.
And speaking of Draymond on Sengun, what were you thinking when they tried to post up Sengun, let him ISO on that last possession?
Why him? I don't know why you'd go after Defensive Player of the Year.
Brandon, over here. Draymond noted your skill and all the work you do, but he also, in explaining sort of why you thrive in this setting, said you have irrational confidence. Where does that come from? Where does your self-belief sort of trace to be on this stage?
Well, first you got to tell yourself you belong in the moment. And I think good and great players want the moment and thrive in the moment. and don't back down from it. But I think it's just from building evidence. All the things you put into the game, that collects over time. And from that collection, it's like, I've done this so many times. Now, just because it's a different moment, it's still the same thing. And so there's no pressure. And everything I do on there, I'm never going to have a regretful decision. And I'm just going to go out there and know and tell myself I belong, because I do.
And one quick follow-up. How much of your scoring tonight was connected to them kind of bottling up Steph? I mean, Steph had even less room to operate, it seemed, than he has the last few games.
Yeah, I think that's what makes a team. You want to commit 2 players for one and leave your guys kind of in zones to help off. I think that's what a team's about. And I think we did a good job or Steph did a good job of getting off the ball. When they're doing that for 48 minutes, there can be hey, I need to get a shot up, or hey, I need to do this. And I think he was just super cognizant, especially in the second half, of just getting off the ball. I think we had 1 turnover as a team in the second half. So we were just taking what the defense gave us. A lot of times, me, Jimmy were on the baseline or on the corners when Sengun and Adams closing out to us. And so getting the ball there and driving a closeout, making a play.
Brandon, as good as the scoring must have felt to you tonight, you've always been the guy that does the intangible things. You took another charge tonight. How good did that block that you got on VanVleet feel?
I mean, given the situation, obviously it's magnified a little bit because it was a key possession, but just understanding, watching film, understanding he's not the best finisher in the paint, and either he wants to spray it out or shoot threes a lot of the time. And so I wasn't too worried when he got past me. Just kind of rode the drive, and obviously he went for a floater, and I just tried to help Dre out a little bit and get a piece of it.
Hey, Brandon, what's going through your head when Draymond picks up that 5th foul, and what adjustments did you guys have to make to survive without him?
I think for me, as a point guard, it was just like, what can we do defensively to kind of counteract Sengun? Obviously, he got going a little bit when Dre was out. But I think it was just, if we can get a 3 and trade it for a 2 with Sengun and just kind of make him work for it, we'll kind of live with it. And then I think for the most part in the second half, we kept the 3 out of the game, which is kind of how they score if it's not Sengun.
Can you sort of describe that sidestep 3 in front of the bench? I mean, most of your threes seem like you're set, you're square to the basket, but that seemed like you were moving more than normal.
Yeah, low shot clock, got it on the wing. It's a shot I practice all the time. And so, like I said, good players want the moment, and they want to take those shots, and it just happened to be my shot.
Quarters 1 through 3, you couldn't move, but something clicked in the 4th quarter, and you just showed up. What was it that clicked? Did the pain go away? Did you just lock in? What was it?
I thought it was winning time. Doing certain things that the team needed me to do to go out there and help win finally. I started moving a little bit better, and happy to be able to go out there and compete with my guys.
Is that playoff Jimmy?
We're not gonna do this. It's just part of the game. Now your body starts to warm up. You start to move a little bit better. You gain confidence. People start talking to you, and then good things happen.
You've said people start talking to you. You're talking about Dylan Brooks?
Yeah. Yes.
Anything you want to share that he said?
Nah. I mean, I like it. I think we all like when people start chirping. It's been this way this entire series. I don't think it's going to change. And we're going to go out there, we're going to compete, and we're going to go do what we're supposed to do in Houston.
Could you describe the final rebound that you got? Steve really kind of pumped that up as one of the biggest plays of the night. What did you see there?
I saw that I wasn't battling with Steven Adams the last play, so I was able to go up there and be a semi-athlete. But I wanted that rebound. I told Dre, if you get a stop, I will get the rebound. And he got the stop, and I got the rebound.
Jimmy, what were the past 4 or 5 days like for you just after the fall? And how close did you feel on Saturday? What was the ultimate difference the last couple of days?
A lot of pain. I'm not going to lie to you. My dog Armando has been working every minute and hour off of the hour to make sure that I was able to play. And he's been doing it since I went down. The training staff here has been incredible. My teammates incredible, and making sure that I was okay, checking in on me. And then, today I woke up and I was good enough, so I was able to go out there and compete.
Kerr said that if this was a regular season, you might maybe out for a week or more. Is that essentially true? And
Yeah, I would like to think so. I'm not going to say that I'm not hurting, but it's a good pain whenever it's all towards winning. I feel like they got me here to help do something special, and if I'm out there on the floor, I'm expected to produce and help win. So I'm glad that I was able to do that tonight.
and did it hurt more, like with a bump or a fall, or you definitely hit the floor a couple times?
A couple times, but I'm a big boy. I'm like 35 years of age now, so I know how to handle those type of things. Get some more treatment, get some rest. Domino's, coffee, kids. That's the formula to success.
Jimmy, on Saturday, Steve Kerr compared you to Andre Iguodala in terms of being on the bench and coaching and helping. And what was it like to watch them win without you? And just how proud were you? And what was your role? And that fur coat too. Tell us
You
about
like
that fur coat,
yeah,
please.
That's aloe for you right there. Y'all go to aloe, get y'all some of that stuff. No. I think it's a crazy comparison because I was able to play with Dre back in my Miami days, and just to get to know him and know how he goes about everything. It's all towards winning and it's all towards doing the right things. But to see my guys go out there and get a dub, it doesn't surprise me because I see the way that everybody works on their game every single day and how they do the right things and they're just putting the same winning stuff into like this bucket. And that when it's time to tip that bucket over, all that winning comes out. I hate to give Buddy a compliment, so I'm not going to. But number 7 on our team really brought the defensive mentality tonight, made some big shots, and he stinks. I just got to add that too.
Steve has said so much about the spacing is crucial for Steph to, get the defenders off, maybe a little bit off him. How do you sort of see how that's going for you guys to keep creating, trying to create space?
Space or no space, Steph is going to Steph. I see it on Instagram all the time. And he's going to make incredible shots, and he's going to get the ball to everybody where they're comfortable in space. He has the most difficult job in this league, I would like to think, and he handles it with grace. He's always smiling. Teammate of the year, and he's great for a reason.
In your playoff experience, is there like a point in a series when it's like, we know we got him? And if so, have you guys reached that point yet?
Yes, there is a point when you win 4 games. So we got one more to get. You can't let your guard down at all. It's been a dogfight damn near every game. So it could go either way, but I'm glad that the way that it's going is for the Warriors.
Jimmy, we didn't get to talk to you after the injury. Have you ever had an injury like that before, and did you have any issues with how it happened?
No, I fell on my tailbone before, but not as hard as I hit at that time. Didn't like it. Wasn't a great feeling. And more than anything, I just wanted to play. This is the best time of year for everybody. This is why you go through what you go through. So to be able to miss a game, I don't like it. But I'm back. I'm back in a big way.
Do you have to wear a pad or anything like that?
No
Okay.
pad for me. I'm not Steph, so I don't need that.
And what is it going to take to close things out in Houston?
Some more togetherness, some better rebounding, some shot making that always helps. More than anything, just staying poised, knowing that, there are going to be some texts. There's definitely going to be that. But keeping everybody in the game, that's what we need to do.
Jimmy, Draymond gets those early fouls and that early, right here, and that early tech too. What did you just see from him and
the flagrant?
And the flagrant. What did you see from him and his ability to stay on the court and just be there for that last play?
I'm not even going to say that it's growth because he knows that we must have Draymond Green on the floor in order to win. So the amount of poise that he has when everything that he does, it's always blown out of proportion. Because if it was anybody else, it wouldn't be that. But to stay so calm, to come out there, get stops, kick us off on the offensive side of the ball, you're a special human being. And that's why he's the hustle man of the year. So remember that.
Jimmy, you and Dylan got into it. It looked like you guys were having fun. Like, took it back to the playground almost, it looked like. What was it like out there? And it looked like you guys were, like, going back and forth. Did you enjoy that element of the game?
No, we're not having fun. You give me a break for this. I don't like Dylan Brooks, so we're never having fun. I'm a fierce competitor. He's a fierce competitor, but there ain't nothing fun about that.
So when you look at some of the pictures, I was looking at the pictures, and it looked like he was trying to have fun, but you weren't going for it.
No, I'm not going for that. I don't think anybody is trying to be friends with anybody on either team. That's for sure. Fun is winning. Fun is competing. And it's going to be fun whenever we get 4.
How would you describe that second quarter where I think you guys gave him 15 points off turnovers? There was review after review after review. What was that like going through that?
Part of the game, knowing that that's going to happen. This game is a game of runs. They're going to have theirs. We're going to have ours. Like I always say, stay poised. Stop turning the ball over in the first place, and you won't have to worry about it. And know that in the end, we're good enough and we have enough.
Jimmy, I heard that you said a little earlier that you got your joy back, which was a big thing for you a couple months ago. Is that joy because of winning, or is that joy because of winning with this group of guys?
Definitely because of winning. Definitely because I'm able to be who I am, who I've made myself out to be for the last couple of years in this league. But more than anything, it's just fun. I get to play basketball. I get to come into work knowing that I'm going to be able to play in these games, play in the playoffs, and help us do something special.
Jimmy, to your right, speaking of fun, I don't know if you've been asked this, but how did you come up with the Steph bat light with the Steph logo? Who on your team comes up with that type of stuff? And are you having fun on the social media side too?
Yeah, I am. I'm having a lot of fun on socials. The bat signal, my content guys came up with. It was my idea, but that's who he is to me, to us, to y'all, to the world.
Is Alfred going to get any love anytime soon?
I don't know who. Who do you think Alfred would be?
Buddy, I think.
No,
I think Buddy thinks he's
no,
Alfred.
That is not the right answer. No. Who?
Buddy said he's Alfred.
No. Buddy is not in this. Buddy's the Joker or something. He's the evil man. Perfect. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
Jimmy said he was in a lot of pain, and he finally started to move better in the fourth quarter. I mean, just how gutsy of a performance out there by him tonight to be able to do what he did, in that rebound he pulled down at the end as well.
Sheer determination and will. We held it down in Game 3, and I know he wanted to be out there, and injuries are tough, especially in the playoffs. But for him to gut through that first half and get the wheels going and then get turned up second half, both ends of the floor, it's why he is who he is and why he means so much to us. So this is, gutty performance for sure.
You've kind of been there before, too, where you've come back from an injury and you weren't 100%, but you go out there and you do what you do. What's the mentality when you know you can't be 100%? What takes you through 4 quarters of a game?
Just the sense of urgency at the moment. No matter really how it looks, you understand it's a long game and there's going to be opportunities for you to make your impact felt. And just having a knack for, it doesn't have to be loud scoring opportunities or whatnot. It's just there's moments where you feel like you can make a play and you have the confidence in yourself to do it. So it helps when somebody lights a fire under you too. We all saw that.
Hey, Steph. Brandon was really good today on both ends. What'd you see from him tonight?
Yeah, I could spend all day talking about him, Buddy, Draymond stopped down the stretch, talked about Jimmy, QP and coming in, hitting a couple of big ones and momentum, but, everybody contributed at a level that we need, and that's the playoffs. Like, every game has a different identity and a different feel. And it's hard to predict how it's going to look, but you have to have 5 guys who are on the floor ready for their moment. BP did that. There were certain matchups that he liked and took advantage of, made some timely shots for us. all you want is everybody to be confident to, take open shots, play the way that they see fit and just bring energy. And he did that from the jump.
You mentioned light a fire. Maybe that's a reference to some Dylan Brooks things. What did you think of your technical foul? And did you think they, I mean, we know they're physical. We know this has been a feisty series. Was there even more inciting in this game than maybe even the past few?
There were more reviews and every game has been physical and there's been moments. And you expect two teams to not like each other at this point. Like 4 games in, physical series, every game is just a battle. It's what you expect when, everybody's competing at a high level. You don't want the antics to distract from the game. And I think we did a good job of bouncing back in the second half and not letting, those type of episodes really get under our skin at all and channel that energy in the right direction. So that's what a good team can do. And we did that in the second half.
Hey, Steph, you seem pretty excited to celebrate this one with Draymond afterward. Obviously, he made the big play at the end, but what can you just say about his night as a whole, picking up the early fouls, but staying there and being there at the end to make that play?
Yeah, he kind of bookended the game. It was kind of funny. He hit those 2 threes to start and got us going. We finally got off to a better start. Foul trouble and all that other stuff took away some of his minutes in the meat of the game, but that's what you want right there. I think I heard Coach talk about like it's me taking a game-winning shot. It's Draymond getting a game-winning stop, especially when it's a one-on-one type of situation where they're just going to try him, and he stood tall, took the challenge, and to be able to do that with how the rest of the game went is just a testament to him understanding the moment and staying locked in and engaged and doing what he needs to do to help us win.
Steph, two questions for you. One, is the taunting a sign of you turning over a new leaf and becoming a villain?
I'm not going to. Last I am, actually. That was so stupid because he had did it literally the play before, and I just returned the favor, but they didn't see him. They saw me. It's like, siblings, the second one's going to get in trouble. So that was me.
As a guy who's seen these games, so many come down to the end, what's more agonizing, more difficult, when you need to get a bucket to end the game, to win a game, or you need to get a stop to win a game? It was an excellent question. Thank you for saying so.
It was a good question. It's more agonizing. Defense for sure, just because you don't have as much control. I think you probably asked Draymond, it's the opposite answer. But that's how we see the game. So you either way, you feel like you can do enough to get over the hump and make a play to win a game. I think I had missed that little floater to try to go up 3, and I felt like I missed an opportunity to give us a little bit of cushion. And I'm sure Draymond on the other end was like, all right, it's my turn. And he answered the call. It was unbelievable to watch.
What are the challenges to closing out a series now that you'll have a chance to on Wednesday, and how valuable would it be to make this a short series?
That's pretty straightforward. The more rest you get, the better. You don't want to mess around with the game, but you understand closeout games are extremely difficult because of desperation from the other side. Trying to do it on the road is even more challenging. Just the idea you have to stick with 48. I remember our first closeout game, or my first experience in 2013 playing Denver. I think we were like up 10 with, if I remember correctly, a couple of minutes. We turned the ball over so many times, and it felt like it was the longest, 2-3 minute stretch to finish a game. And it's been helpful to go through it a bunch of times over the last decade, but it is just an experience that it takes everything out of you because the team doesn't want to lay down. They're not going to quit. They're going to feed off their home crowd. It doesn't mean you have to play perfect, and you don't want to come in with that mentality like, if we miss shots early or if they go on a run early, you don't want to get in your head. It's a long game. be resilient, relentless, and you got to be disciplined more so than anything. I think that's our biggest challenge.
Steph, Jimmy just said that during the last play, he told Draymond Green, "You got to stop irregular rebounds." How would you describe the team's effort on defense?
Yeah, it's a good combination. Draymond, making a stand, making Sengun take a tough shot. They had Steven Adams down there, Jabari Smith, so that's how they kind of came back in that end of the third, taking advantage of a big lineup. So for him to go get that rebound, and I mean, we saw even the confidence to be able to get up, but the injury that he had didn't work out in game 2. But he turned the page and knew how important that was for us to seal the game. So I just like the fact that they're talking about it too. Like, that's how you build confidence with teammates. Like, you do your job, I'll do mine.
Steph, you mentioned lighting a fire under you. Jimmy said you look forward to it when you come into a game and you're playing 40-plus minutes 2 nights before. Does it really help to be trashed, or for someone to be trash talking to you? Does that really just put that behind you and you just can go?
We've seen it all. And like I said, there's moments where it can distract you if you let it, but you kind of have to check yourself. Like, nobody's trying to be soft and let people try to walk all over you. You got to, protect yourself, protect your team. Some of those tactics are done to take you out of your game. So if you allow it to, then you kind of play right into their hands. So whether I'm talking or smiling my way through it or having fun with it, everybody handles it a little differently, but you got to focus on basketball.
So to follow up, do you think it's better, being that you guys have championship pedigree, that you are able to respond so well to it versus a younger team when you guys are giving it back and they're kind of making sloppy plays or sloppy mistakes or obvious cheap shots where they get caught by refs?
No, I think we have championship pedigree because we figured that out on the front end, and that's kind of, who we are consistently. So this team is different. We have to kind of figure it out on the fly because this particular group hasn't done it together before. So everybody individually has to be as disciplined as possible. That's the way we're going to win.
You were honored or announced today as the teammate of the year in the NBA. Just what does that honor mean to you?
It was cool because you're around a long time and understand, building culture and being a consistent presence in the locker room, on and off the court, being somebody that people can reach out to appropriately for advice or building relationships, that type of thing is a really cool honor. My favorite part about it was when Coach at shoot around this morning started to give the whole spiel before anybody knew who won. 3 other people got nominated in our huddle before it got to me, which speaks to the culture that we have around here and reflection of how much fun I've had being a part of this organization for so long. So definitely a special honor for sure. Pretty cool trophy too.
Cool. Is that it?